Just set your timer for 10 minutes, declutter for 10 minutes, get rid of the trash. You could do it even if I'm not there with you, but it's the same for starting a business. Like, give yourself that time and know that if you're passionate about it, it's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out.
What's up, Speaker fam? Welcome to I Speak Organized. I'm your host, Melanie Summers, professional organizer, ADHD organizing specialist, and your go-to gal for all things pro organizing business. I like to speak organized to give you the tools to conquer your clutter, live life with more purpose, and learn all about the business of tidying. Do me a favor, if you have not subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and take out your device and tap that subscribe button so that you become a member of the Speaker fam. And as you get value out of today's podcast episode, please hit that thumbs up and tap the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube so that you're notified whenever we post content every single week. If you are an Apple Podcast user, you can give us that rave 5-star review so that people just like you who are aspiring professional organizers, organizing enthusiasts can benefit from the resources and tools that we provide here at the Speak Organized podcast. That would help the channel grow, and we would be so appreciative. Now, if you're looking for a place to get started and you're new to the Speak Organized universe, I want you to head to the description of the video on the podcast show notes, where you can join our free Facebook group. It's full of thousands of members of organizing enthusiasts and aspiring pro organizers, people who are looking to grow in the industry, asking and answering questions. It's a super supportive and very engaged group. And that link is going to be down in the description and the podcast show notes. So head down there and join that group today. The main mission here at I Speak Organized is to give you the best quality tools and resources to level up your business and have a truly successful 6 or 7-figure business that doesn't suck away all of your time. So if you're brand new to all of this and it seems very overwhelming, you don't really know where to start, you have come to the right place. I am your go-to gal for all things pro organizing business. If you're afraid that you aren't enough, like you don't have enough experience or you don't really have the goods to bring to the table to charge what other people charge, or whatever story you happen to be telling yourself, I am here to help you understand that you can be exceptional with the right tools and training. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how I can help you with that. But in the meantime, let's get into this juicy interview. All right, Speaker fam, as always, it's so fun to introduce the guest, and I'm excited for this one. This is Melissa from Tidy Up with Melissa, and she's based out of Northeastern Ohio. She's going to tell us all about her business, and I just want to, Melissa, welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here. I'm so excited to talk to you in person. I've been a big fan for many years, and I'm so excited to get to talk to you today. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. And we talked a little bit before we started rolling, and I am very excited for what you're going to share with us today, because it's not like groundbreaking, but there are so many people that come to this channel that need to hear your story, that need to hear what you have to say, because it's so relatable. That's why I feel like it's really important. So I want to dive right in and kind of get the origin story of Tidy Up with Melissa. So let's start with that snapshot. What can you tell us who you are, where you're located? We already touched on that a little bit. And then what kind of clients you serve through Tidy Up with Melissa.
Okay. So I am Melissa Chamberlain. I'm the owner of Tidy Up with Melissa. I live in Northeast Ohio. So I'm halfway between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I live with my husband and our 4 boys. We're a little Brady Bunch situation. I have 2, he has 2, and they're all between 12 and 14. So a lot of middle school, high school stuff going on, which is great.
God, oh my gosh.
There's a lot. Testosterone and cologne and all the smells in the house, but they're great. They're so much fun. Who I help is anyone that needs help organizing. I do a lot of decluttering with people. I do a lot of decluttering to relocate. And I did start doing holiday decorating too. So that's a little fun add-on. I did not think anyone would ever want me to help them decorate, but they do. And it is super fun in the month of December.
That's amazing. That's Yeah. And then of course, nobody wants to take all their decorations down. So how nice is it to have an organizer help you with that part of it too?
It's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's go back even further. So to get to kind of like the origin story, because I feel like this is where a lot of people listening and watching at certain phases will really relate to what you have to say. And it'll be cool for them to kind of see where you started and where you are now. So what was going on in your life when you first had the idea to become a professional organizer?
So about 4 years ago, I was still working my corporate America job. I worked for JoAnn Fabrics. I was floor plan designer. So I designed how the merchandise flowed in the stores. Prior to that, I was a space planner. So I had worked for JoAnn's for about 14, 15 years. I loved what I did. I loved the people I worked with. I can't say enough about my coworkers. They were all great, but I felt like I had more to offer the world. And I loved organizing. And I also craved not sitting in a desk all day. I sat in a cubicle, and I was also a retail girl before that. So I was a store manager. So I love the customer service aspect of it. So I was like, if I could just kind of get my feet wet and try this, I think I could be good at it. But it was taking the leap from having a good job with benefits, a lot of PTO. That was the scariest part for me, to be like, oh God, like, can I do this? Do I want to do this? Like, how's it going to look? But I craved like that flexibility with the kids too, being home, being able to work from home. I'm not going to lie, really during COVID kind of ruined having to go to the office for me. I was able to get the kids on and off the bus every day. And that was another thing that I was like, I would really love some flexibility. So that was where I started kind of getting the itch to say, I really want to try something else.
Yeah, absolutely. So walk us through, because there generally speaking is a moment where you just know, right? And so if you can think back on that time, what was the moment for you where you knew, like, I have to do this, even if I don't feel 100% ready? Like you said, you were in your comfort zone, but you knew something was missing. And so what was the moment when you were like, I have to do this?
Well, it was just one day after work. I was sitting on the couch and I literally Googled how to become a professional organizer. I was like, I don't even know where to start. I found a course that was $7 or $8,000. I was talking to my husband about it, and he was like,
whoa,
I know it was a lot. And I was like, but maybe I should try it. And he was like, you know what you're doing. He had already run a successful lawn care business. So he was very helpful with the side of like the business side. Cause I was like, I don't really know how to do any of that part. He was like, you know what you're doing. Just try. He's like, you have to just try. You owe it to yourself. Set up a website, do it on the side. You don't have to quit your job today. Just see how it goes. So I did. And it was just little by little. I usually got up at 5. I got up at 4:30 and I just gave myself, like, I set a timer every day. I gave myself 45 minutes to work on the business. I started setting up a website. I did it all myself. So I just, pennies in the bucket, they add up, and you have to like just start by starting. So every day I was kind of excited to get out of bed just to try it. And that was when I was like, okay, we're going to try this and just see how it goes.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I want to dive into the sort of mental and emotional hurdles a little bit more, and really kind of lean into overcoming that imposter syndrome, because that is really where a lot of people stop themselves before they get started. There's a million reasons to let fear make decisions for you, right? In every aspect of our lives. And we all go through those moments where things are humming along and you're like really grateful that that's the case. But like I said a few minutes ago, that there's just something missing. And so obviously when it comes to starting a business, that's a very unique position to put yourself in, because you're in charge of everything. It's very scary. So what if I may just dive into this, what were some of, and I'm going to lay it on you, sister, you ready? So, what were some of your biggest fears or doubts that you wrestled with in the beginning? My
biggest fear was that no one would call. Like that, you always have a lot of friends that say, oh, I would love for you to come organize, but then when you put the pedal to the metal, is anyone really going to pay for this? Can I really support our family by doing this? You know what I mean? Am I really going to give up a job that was good and stable at the time? It was stable at the time. Right. Am I really going to give that all up to try something? And I'm no spring chicken either. I'm 45. So when I started this, I was still over 40 and I was like, oh God, and it's a very physical job. I feel like I'm in decent shape, but I was like, is this something like, do I really want to go all in? So that was my biggest fear, that no one was going to call. Also, being halfway between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, there's a lot of organizers in both of those cities. There's not a lot here. And I'm like, well, is there a reason for that? Is anyone like, could it be sustainable? Like, we're pretty middle class. Like, it feels like a very like luxury service. Is anyone going to call? And will I be able to like keep myself booked and busy? That was the biggest, scariest thing. Because I thought I could put a lot of money or effort into this, but if no one calls, then what's really going to happen? So
what am I going to do? Yeah,
exactly.
And let's think about this for a second too, because if you guys are listening, watching, paying attention to what Melissa's saying here, the company that she used to work for, JoAnn Fabrics, we all know what's going on with them. They went bankrupt. They're done. So it's almost like you knew that. Or something.
I did not, but it felt
part of you.
Yeah,
like I need to move on from this, and it's good that you did. It's good that you took the leap, and it's also important to point that out because it at the time seemed like a very stable environment, and it just goes to show you that even that is not real. Like it. So why not go for something that you feel passionate about, like deep down, like this is your thing. Like why not? Because look what can happen. How many years have you been in business now?
It is going on like 2 full-time years. I started back in 2021 in September. So it'll be 4 years, a year part-time, and then I'll get to the rest of it. I started full-time after a year of that.
Right. So like, think about that. 2 years ago, stable job, company, seemingly doing fine.
Yeah.
And no reason in the world to do this. None. No reason to do that other than you knew deep down this was your calling and then look what happened. So I just want to point these things out to people because there's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be a reason not to do it.
Yeah.
Right. But, and in the middle of a pandemic, for heaven's sake, like literally like hardcore, like 2020, 2021, those were like the real years, and then you kind of like moved into the latter half of that time. And I mean, we were right in the middle of it. So anyway, and now another big piece of this that we touch on is imposter syndrome. Most of us know what that term is, but I talk to coaching clients frequently that don't really understand what that is, or they've never heard the term before. So how do you feel that imposter syndrome showed up for you personally, and what helped you kind of move through it? I know you talked a little bit about it already, but if there's anything else that comes to mind.
Yeah, I really feel like I was confident that if I was able to get in front of a client, I know that I could help them. And I feel like maybe I have a lot of self-confidence. I feel like God bless my parents, because I talked to my girlfriend about this, and we talk about confidence and the importance of instilling it in our kids. And I feel like I've always been a confident person, but so I don't feel like I had a lot of imposter syndrome. And I also think that relates back to being in retail. Being a retail store manager, you have to know, just fake it till you make it. Like the customer's right. You're polite as you can be. You do the best you can every day. And I feel like that's what people want. They want just someone that is going to listen to them. They want someone that is going to communicate with them. And even if I don't know the answer, I'm honest with them and I say, I don't know. I'm not sure, but we could find out. Like I've never done what you want me to do, or I've never organized this kind of different thing, but let's figure it out together. Here's some ideas. Let me go fish. I'll ask your Facebook group, like that's a great resource that I've used a lot when I get kind of a little bit stuck. So I feel like as long as you just give it your best shot and you know that you are giving it your best shot,
great things happen.
What I do.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good. That's very honest. That's very relatable. And I think that it's probably something that people need to hear, especially for those who do kind of struggle with imposter syndrome. So let's frame it a different way. Let's think about it from this angle, because, we all have misconceptions, right? So what's something that you maybe believed early on that turned out to be totally not true once you got started?
It was that no one in this area needed an organizer. That was it. I was like, I don't know. Is anyone going to need it? I don't really think so. They do. They absolutely do. And it is wild.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you just put yourself out there and you are uniquely yourself, I think that is the most important thing. You don't have to be, an organizer told me this from Cleveland when I started, and she said, you like just be yourself. You don't have to be modeled after anyone else. You know, you could look at other people's stuff, but you have something unique to offer to people. And that's how I show up to clients' houses. And I feel like they could see that, you know, like I'm not trying to be Melanie Summers. I'm trying to be myself, you know, or I am myself. So I think if you just show up and you talk with people, I think that is the best thing you could possibly do.
All right, fam, imagine this. You are sitting here in 6 months, sitting right where you are now, and you're running your own professional organizing business that is effortlessly scaling to 6 figures. How awesome would that be? But let me guess, you're sitting here today and you've got that voice of imposter syndrome whispering in your ear, who am I to do this? Well, let me tell you, I have been there, and it is not only possible to overcome those doubts, it is essential because your future clients are looking for you, not anybody else, you. So, how do you scale a 6-figure business? It's easy. You stick with me. I got you. It is my honor to introduce you to my Empowered Organizer membership community, which is a game changer for turning your passion into, if you want, a full-time 6-figure gig. We've got done-for-you scripts and resources, collaborative monthly coaching calls, and a supportive community to fast-track your success by avoiding all the superfluous fluff and, of course, all the dumb mistakes that I've made over the years so that you don't have to make the same ones. You're welcome. Head to melanieSummersCoaching.com/empowered-organizer to learn more and enroll today. And don't worry, it's kind of like your favorite streaming subscription service. You can cancel anytime and renew when you want. And if that weren't convincing enough, let me give you just a little taste of the treasure trove that you'll find when you head to ispeakorganized.com/courses. First, you'll definitely want to check out my overbooked course, packed with golden nuggets to help you get clients and fill your calendar so that you can work full-time as a professional organizer. Or if you need a little personalized guidance, my one-on-one coaching sessions are perfect for getting your most burning questions answered, helping you move forward confidently. Or how about I save you loads of precious time with my professional organizer forms pack, 9 done-for-you customizable forms, including a client agreement, so that you can start taking paying clients ASAP. And don't miss my ChatGPT prompt guide with over 750 prompts to optimize tasks like social media captions, blog posts, and more, engineered for success every time. Again, visit ispeakorganized.com/courses to explore all these options and more. Are you ready to take the leap? Visit the link. I know you want to.
Yeah, that's great. And I think what you said to the answer to the previous question about really listening and being there for your clients and not trying to have all the answers all the time is really an important and overlooked strategy. I think as perfectionist type A people that tend to be drawn to being organizers, we want to be prepared. We want to have the systems and all that stuff. And those things are well and good and important in certain scenarios. But also we have to remember that our clients are people. People want to work with people. They don't want to work with like Stepford wife robot types.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
have it all figured out. You know, like it's okay to say, like you said, I don't know the answer to that question. I've never organized photography equipment before. I didn't know you needed to watch the humidity levels and things like that. It's things that you learn, but it's the fact that you're willing to show up and you're willing to listen and support that means everything to some people.
Yeah.
Because, their sister or their aunt doesn't want to do it. They don't have the time. Their kids, dump all their crap on them and leave. Of course, somebody died, whatever it is, all the things that we deal with. Right. Yeah. So I love that. So I want to move into the first wins for you. So share a story if you can, if you've thought about this a little bit, of your first paying client or one of your first. How did that feel? Because you were like, nobody's going to want to pay for this. And you're like, boy, was I wrong. So what did it teach you?
Well, I think so. Going back to setting up my website, the first day that I hit go, I was sitting at my regular job, and it was the next day. I just had hit go the day prior, and I got a hit on my website, and I was like, what in the world is going on? I was like, this can't be real. Like, this must be a bot. This must be AI. Like, I can't even believe that this is happening. So I was like, okay, pull it together, lady. So I went out to my car during lunch break, and I called this client, and I said, okay, let's set up a consultation. So the next day I went to her house, I bought new shoes. I bought business cards at Staples, like all this stuff that I was like, I have a little bit of runway of time to do. Nope. Get there now. So I was like super nervous about what I needed to bring. I had already listened to your podcast about like what to bring with you. So I got there and she booked the best package that I was offering at the time, and I was still kind of not sure what I was doing. I just based it on what I saw other people doing. So she booked, I think it was 72 hours. And I was just like, oh my God. And I will tell you that she's still my client today. She's a ginormous house. Shout out to Mary. We call her Mary 8000 because she has a ginormous house.
Love it.
And I still work with her every week. We do organizing projects. We do all kinds of different stuff. We've put together a family reunion. We've put together, we decorate for Christmas. We did a graduation party, like you name it. Mary's my guinea pig on everything. So it was the greatest. I couldn't even believe it was happening that someone called right away.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was amazing.
That's a great feeling. I love that it happened so quickly for you. Again, it just goes to show you that sometimes you just got to pull the trigger even before you're 100% ready, and you will get all the rest of the pieces in place. So let's expand on that just a little bit more, because I want to get people hyped.
Yeah.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
So what's another small win that kind of helped you build confidence in those early days?
I think any person that reached out, I didn't have many back then. There wasn't like calls every week. It was like maybe once a month. Anyone that commented on any of my Instagram posts, anyone that said, "Ooh, I thought of you because I organized my spice rack this weekend," I would just like be like, yes, like I'm the organizing, like, like people think of me when they're organizing like that. Meant so much. Or my sister would text me and say, "Oh, look, I organized my drawer at work or my cabinets at work." So it was just every little thing that people like related organizing to me that felt like a huge win. Like I felt like I was kind of getting the brand out there and people might start to take organizing and me seriously.
Yeah. It's funny too, learning more about, especially social media and putting content out there, thinking about what actually is effective, quote unquote, or worth it. There are a lot more folks than we realize that are lurkers that don't engage with content, but they're seeing it. And if you just keep putting stuff out there, even if it gets no likes, one like, whatever, people do see it and they do pay attention. And you would be shocked when somebody finally reaches out to you and they're like, "I've been following you for 3 years and I wanted to call her this is that." We get calls like that all the time.
Yes.
And so there's really no way to measure the success of that moment, but that just know, right? Like you're making a difference. And it's and if you are a client listening or watching to this, like go like Melissa's post, like, let us know.
Yes, I know. I just had a new client that said, "I've been following you for a year." And I was like, "You have?" Like, "Oh my gosh, that's so great." Like, thank you so much.
Yeah. It means really a lot,
nice.
wasn't it? Yeah. So was there a moment where you felt like, oh man, yes, I am a real business owner. Like I'm a professional organizer. Do you have a moment like that?
Yes. The first time I was on the local news. So I know one of the newscasters in our area. And when I started doing this full time, I reached out and I said, "Hey, is there a need for an organizer on the news?" And he goes, "Yeah, come on out." And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, so that was like my grandpa Quilty used to always call it the MIBs, when you make it big. So that was like my make it big moment that like, I can't believe I get to be on the news and talk about organizing.
That is so cool.
It was awesome.
I remember seeing because you've been back a couple of times, right? At least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause they love those segments. And that's like a huge milestone as a local business owner, and people love it. Yes. And you have just like such a nice, calm, relatable energy that I think people just eat it up. And so I don't think I actually put this question in here, but I'm going to throw it in now because I think it's important. You've mentioned now a few times that this is now your full-time job. So when did that shift occur, and what made you make that decision? Like, when were you like, okay, this is it, it's go time, it's full time now, baby, what's up? So
I was laid off. We had a massive layoff, and it was shocking. I worked there for 16 years. I've lived through several layoffs, at the corporate office, and you could kind of see it coming in waves.
Yeah.
And I remember going to work that day, and I thought, oh my gosh, like there was a meeting on the calendar that looked a little sketchy. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. And people were leaving and getting called down. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm getting laid off.
Yeah.
So I packed up my bag, and I remember telling the guy who gave me the news that I was laid off with all of my coworkers. And I was like, well, thank God I started my organizing business. And he was like, oh my, like, that was not the answer and I probably shouldn't have said that in the firing, like, hey, you're getting laid off. And I was like, well, oh my God, this is like perfect timing because I had the runway of a severance, and I was like saving every penny that I made from the company. I was just saving. And I was like, well, okay, I guess this is it. Like, this is my go time. So I called Mary and I said, hey, guess what? I have daytime availability now. And she's like, perfect. Like, start once a week at least, or come whenever you want. So I called the rest of my clients, and some were good. Some, I got new clients along the way, but it was like, I think I applied for one other full-time job as like a desk job, just to like kind of curb my fear of like this not working. But I had a few months of runway to just build up, and I never looked back.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about support and strategy a bit. So obviously this situation, albeit a quote unquote negative seemingly situation, was probably just the push that you needed to take the leap. But also I feel like finding your community or your support system, whether that be a coach, your spouse, a friend, a client. It sounds like Mary was a big time cheerleader for you and really helpful. So who or what supported you most in taking the leap? What was it?
It was my husband. He was like, you've been wanting to do this. This is your chance. See how it goes. We will reevaluate when we get to the end of, my severance. We'll see how that looks. But he had faith in me from day one, and he was like, this is it, just try it. And I was like, okay, so if it doesn't work, I'll go work at Aldi's, I'll go DoorDash, I'll go do anything I need to do. Like, I'm not afraid to work, especially to take care of our family. I'm not going to put us in a position that's going to make us feel like we can't live the life that we have. But he was my biggest cheerleader. He was like, this is your chance, go do it, let's try it. And it was, I thought if I could just make it through that first year, which was like in September, I felt like I could do anything. If I could get through one whole year of organizing full time, and it, like, people kept calling. So it was amazing.
That's awesome. That's important. And I know obviously, like, we're talking a lot about the wins, the support, the strategy. Now along the way, and this is something I'm very transparent about with my coaching clients, those who are aspiring or new organizers who are looking to grow and whatever else in my membership programs and whatnot, there always comes a time where you either butt up against the ceiling and you know that it's time to break through and grow. Maybe that means that you're bringing on a team member, or you're going to start offering a new service, or you're going to open a second location, or whatever it happens to be. Or if you're kind of in the beginning stages of this, it's a roller coaster, right? Like it is for us. I mean, I've remembered some just absolutely abysmal quarters where it's like, where is everyone? Like all these different things. Because I still run my organizing business and I am in the weeds just like everybody else, So when you had those times, if you can think on those times that felt overwhelming, unclear, how did you keep yourself moving forward when things got kind of dicey?
I think just one step at a time. I've always been a very practical person, and knowing that we will get through this. I think communication is the most important, making sure we know, especially with clients, if it's getting kind of crazy, it's been a little bit nutty lately. So I'm not going to get back to you when I say I'm going to get back to you, but I'm going to reach out to you tomorrow. just letting people know what's going on, taking a breath, also taking time for myself. Like as a business owner, I feel like you wake up and you hit the treadmill running and you're like, go, 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 go. And it's very easy to forget to take care of yourself. And you have to kind of put your own life vest on first. I got a Peloton during COVID and like, you got to go ride, you got to go run, get something, do 20 minutes for you. And I feel like that is a good message for anyone. Like make sure you take a little bit of time for yourself, breathe, and then write out a list. Okay. What are the top 3 that need to get done today? Like the no nonsense ones. And then keep moving. Like, what are the next couple of things that need to get done? Like just kind of keep your wits about it and not get too freaked out or overwhelmed. Like try to stay calm as much as you can. I think that's how I get through everything.
Yeah, that, like you said, it is applicable to just about any part of life. And the physical exercise part, or the physical self-care in particular, is one of those things that's very overlooked. And that was one of the first things that you said at the beginning of the interview was like, this is really physical work.
It is.
And I think that's something that a lot of people neglect, or they just don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. It's, you're schlepping boxes from the attic to the basement and you're moving furniture perhaps. And if you're on your feet, a lot. And you're also doing a lot of things in the background in terms of the systems and the SOPs and all of the like research of product and all the things we know. Right.
Yeah.
So it is important. And that's why actually I'm wearing like a hoodie right now and I'm sweaty and I like threw makeup on my face because what I did right before this interview, I teach exercise classes.
That's awesome. I love
because
that.
I'm lazy. And I know, thank you. Yeah. People like laugh at me. They're like, you're not lazy. Like I am. You have to pay me to work out. I'm not
That's
showing up
amazing.
any other way.
That is a great way to get paid.
It is. And it's a good way to stay in shape. I have to show up and I'm better for it. I'm not going to get injured lifting a box. I'm not going to be too tired to play with my kids after a long day of work or whatever it is, so that is so, so important. Drinking a ton of water, all the things, right?
Yep. All the time.
Go. Take care of yourself. I love that you brought that up because it's super overlooked and very important. So
yeah, for sure.
Now you also, one thing that caught my attention, which kind of leads me into our next question here, is where you mentioned like you're going to sit down and kind of write out a list and just try to keep yourself grounded and not get like the gears stuck in your brain, the fear loops and all those things. So do you follow any specific systems or structure to get organized in your business? Or is it kind of more trial and error, or what's your kind of go-to?
I think a lot of it was like, I kind of had a starting point in mind and it is nowhere near what I started with. I've downloaded your forms. I've Googled a lot of stuff. I've listened to all kinds of different things, like anything I could get my hands on to like try to figure it out. I don't feel like I need super intricate, tricky things. I feel like simple is best. But it was just a lot of trial and error. And I still feel like I'm still learning, like I have my intake sheet that I was listening to your podcast and I just listened to your last guest and I was like, oh, those are a couple of good questions I should add, like there's things that you always have to have that open mind to like be tweaking your systems and like kind of what you do. Like I'm not an expert on it yet. I'm learning. And I feel like just learning as you go and knowing that it's okay to not know everything.
Right. Yeah. Being a lifelong learner and having that built-in mindset of flexibility is so important in life, but especially as an entrepreneur. And I am constantly like discovering new tools. And that's why I love my position at I Speak Organized. The way that I've built the business and the community is like, whatever I find that I think is cool, I'm going to share it, because like, and I'm all about this like new calendar that I use called Motion. And because I have ADHD. And so for me, even if the system is good, I'm either going to get bored or I'm going to forget, like stop using it, or I'm just going to be too overwhelmed. And like this calendar, I can think of a task and it's connected to Siri now. And so I can like speak it into my phone if I'm driving, because you think of like things that you do, and then it will add it to my calendar and shuffle everything else around for me so that I'm not, it has been life-changing. My husband told me last night, he was like, I have not seen you clickety clack on your computer in bed in like 3 weeks, like at night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Like
amazing.
unbelievable. And if you have ADHD, you know what I'm talking about, where you hyper focus on something and you're like, I have to get the task done, and we have time blindness. And so we like don't know how long something's going to take to get done, and we take much longer. So anyway, this like does away with that.
Okay. What's it called? Motion?
Motion. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'll send you afterwards. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
To like a free trial situation. Cause man,
I would love
amazing.
that.
Oh, it's good stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I use it for various different things. But anyway,
Okay.
I kind of want to move into like the wrap up phase a little bit here, because we can obviously talk about all these things forever. But I would love to know if you could go back in time to pre-business owner, pre-CEO Melissa. And if you were going to go and have a conversation with her, what would you say to her? What kind of encouragement would you give to her?
I would say do it sooner. Like, I wish I would have had the guts to try it sooner. I found, or my cousin found, something that I had written on Facebook, you know, like probably in the early 2000s, how we would write out lists, like 10 lists that I want to talk about on my list that she found that I don't even know how she found it. But it said, it was like from 2009. It said, I wish I had the guts to start my own organizing business. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you found that.
That's crazy.
I've always,
so long ago.
I know, like I've always loved it. Like I am, you know, a natural firstborn child that lived in a house with, you know, my parents were both like younger kids. So I feel like I was always like kind of bossy. So I always organized our house. I've always loved to do it. I've loved to, you know, when I go to my sister's house, I'm like, what can we clean out? You know? So it's always just been something I've loved. So I'm glad I finally did it. And I feel like that's exactly what I would say. Like, just try it sooner.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those who are listening and watching and just hearing what we have to say, and they're like right on the edge, but they just can't get past that fear. What would you say to that person? I
would say I was you. Like, I was you. I was listening to you, this specific podcast, at my cubicle, at JoAnn's, scribbling notes in between working on floor plans, like what I should take with me to a job, what you should have in your bag, you know, like all these different things that I learned from you, which I'm still fangirling and I can't believe I get to talk to you. Like, I was you. And if I could do it, anyone could do it. If you have the passion for like the customer service, and if you have the passion for organizing, as soon as you walk in the door, you are the expert. Like, you don't have to like learn everything before you go. You're going to learn with that person. You're going to learn with your client, and you're going to just listen to what they have to say. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to have the confidence to like walk in the door and say, we're going to figure this out together. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I promise you when I leave, it's going to be better than when I got here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well said. I have one more kind of heavy hitting question before we wrap up and make sure that everybody knows where to connect with you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And because I think this is important, because we've laid out some pretty actionable strategies here. And I think a lot of people in any previous like speaking engagement that I've done, there's always one or two people that expect this magic bullet of like, holy shit, like that's it. That's what I must do. Like, you know, like the angels are singing and the fireworks are going off.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like a lot of this stuff is really, really simple. And that's why the fear creeps in. It's like, it can't be that easy. Like, you can't like should have started sooner, or like, you know, just go for it. Ask questions. You don't need to know everything, but like, that's the real deal. Like, that's the stuff. So having been through this journey, because you did this, you pushed go, and you're here and you're doing it full time.
Yeah.
Now, what is your personal definition of courage now after walking through this journey?
I think it's just being able to have the confidence to go like boldly where you weren't ever before, not knowing how it's going to end up, but go with confidence and say like, okay, we're going to take this path. We're not sure where it's going to land. This is where we want it to go. But you can't have the end in mind. You just have to know that you're going to try your best and see where it leads. Because I've had a lot of different things pop up that I'm like, sure, I'll do that speaking engagement. Sure, I'll do this. And it leads to so many different things. And it's been incredible. So it's not going to happen overnight, but those drops in the bucket add up. Like, I can't say that enough. Like, I say this to my clients all the time. They're probably sick of me saying this, but I'm like, just set your timer for 10 minutes, declutter for 10 minutes, get rid of the trash. You could do it even if I'm not there with you, but it's the same for starting a business. Like, give yourself that time and know that if you're passionate about it, it's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out.
Yeah. Yeah. Set that timer, wake up half an hour earlier and go for 45 minutes to work on your business every day, just like you did. And look where you are. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
It's extremely valuable. I want people to be able to come back and listen to this again.
Yeah.
When they're not feeling, ready for it. And also know, like, Melissa and I are here for you. Melissa used to listen, like she said, to this podcast. And now here she is sitting as a guest. Like, we're real people.
Crazy.
Isn't it though? And we're just
it is.
So connect with us. And so in the spirit of that, if, I'm sure somebody's going to want to reach out to you and talk to you and be like, thank you so much for what you said. So where do we do that? How do we find you? Website, social media, all the things.
Yeah. You can find me at Tidy Up with Melissa on Instagram or Facebook. I also have tidyupwithmelissa.com. So you can connect with me there. My phone number's there. Like, people could text, people could reach out, and, however they want to get a hold of me is fine. I will always be a cheerleader for someone who wants to try this. And, if you have questions, like, that's what I love about the organizer community, like, especially like on Instagram, in your Facebook group. I feel like everyone is so eager to help. Everyone's going to give you their honest opinion, like, hey, what do I do with this situation? Or this came up. So there's so many great people out there. So I'd love to connect with people if they have questions or need help.
Awesome. I will make sure, of course, if you guys head to the show notes, all that info is going to be down there as per usual. So you can connect with us that way. Melissa, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been really fun.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
I love having Amy on the show. She always provides such value to us, and I always learn something new, and I'm so inspired by her. Just love her to pieces. So thanks for coming on the show. Make sure that you connect with her. All her information is going to be down in the description of the podcast show notes and the YouTube video. Make sure that if you want to book that one-on-one coaching call with me, you head to the link down there. You can also check out all of the courses that we have available at ispeakorganized.com/courses. All our resources, they're there. The forms pack, all the information about our latest membership program is there for you as well. If you have questions, comment them down below, DM me on Instagram, email me, whatever it is that you need. We're here for you as a resource, and we would love to help you out. Beyond that, I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I will see you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so we see you around. Hope you have a good one.